Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about Manjaro 23.1 Vulcan was recently released, and the term Vulcan is very close to my heart because I am into Linux gaming. So without further delay, let's dive right in. Now, once you boot Manjaro, you're going to be greeted by a welcome screen. I removed that, so we don't have that. But if you are familiar with Manjaro, you already know that this is an amazing distribution. And if you aren't, well, this is a rolling release. This is kind of like Arch Linux, but playing it safe, so you don't get the packages updated as soon as they drop, but they wait around a week or two. They test the packages and then they drop it. We are going to be checking out the Gnome version of Manjaro today. It also drops in other flavors like Plasma. So the recent releases were Plasma 5.27 LTS, XFCE 18, and Gnome 45.2, I believe. So the first thing is the activities indicator. So before, I remember we used to have activities overview or something of that sort mentioned at the top left corner, but that is not the case anymore. So once you click on it, you're going to be shown the workspaces. You can add other items. So let's say, for example, I add files to this and I open another workspace and I add gedit to this. So what's going to happen is, okay, this looks better. So what's going to happen is now we have 4 workspaces. The 4th one is the one that's ready to be created, but it doesn't actually exist. So we have 3 existing workspaces with different apps running in each of them. So the current workspace is going to have a pill shape. The other ones are going to be denoted by a dot. So let's continue on with our tour. We have fast search, which has been made better. So these performance improvements include a range of apps like software, characters, clocks, files, and calculator. These are in Manjaro. Manjaro benefits from them because it uses Gnome 45. Let's check out the search real quick. A really cool thing about Manjaro is it uses something called a layout switcher. And as you can see, the search was really fast. So let's go over some of the themes of layout switcher. I already was messing around in this panel. I really don't want to change too much because my virtual machine crashed. So let's play it safe this time around. The default is Manjaro with a top bar and a dash to dock, which I really like. It kind of gives a Mac OS kind of vibe. The traditional is the one where you have a bottom panel and a traditional start menu. Okay, so we're gonna have to apply this for it to actually stick. Let's go ahead and see what it does. Okay, so the date and time moved to the right hand corner. We have some icons over here and we have a start menu. We have some apps, recently opened apps, I'm assuming, and all apps. These are categories, I believe. And if I open something like system tools, it's gonna give me a few apps that are inside. Okay, let's change it to tiling method. Let's click on apply and see what happens. Now, tiling, even though I don't use it a lot, is actually a favorite window manager for a lot of people. You can see why. We have, let's say, layout switcher open. Let's open Firefox. Okay, so it wasn't supposed to do that, but maybe this is because I'm running it inside a VM. So this is what it would do. It would automatically tile your windows. Let's open, let's say, files. This is in a different workspace. So let's press the super key. And let's bring files from the second workspace to the first workspace. And as you can see, it has been tiled neatly into 3 separate columns. Moving on, we have the 3rd and we have the 4th one and the final one, which is the vanilla Gnome option. If you used Fedora in the past, you should be very familiar with it already. I'm not gonna change it over to that. Let's just go to Manjaro and apply that because that's the look that I really love. And that's the one that's the default. Anyway, we also have a camera usage indicator. So a new camera indicator is a welcome addition to the system top bar in Gnome 45. This is something which you would be very familiar with if you already have used Android or iOS, where you have indicators for not only the camera, but also the microphone, right? So this is something which they have introduced, which is really cool. But again, this only works in Pipewire. You also have new system features. So if you press the super key plus S, you're gonna get the quick settings panel where you can either take a screenshot. This is a really cool tool. And one thing I noticed is they have not accented these buttons, unlike Zorin OS, which was really cool. And the last time I couldn't really see the record screen option pop up when I was playing around myself. I guess these are bugs which can be fixed, and the absence of accent colors, well, it's not a deal breaker. So let's move on. We have an option to open the settings panel, lock the computer, power off, and you also have the internet options over here. You have different power modes. You can change it from balanced to power saver, or you can also have it at, I believe, performance. This is missing from my laptop VM, but this is a valid option, which if you install Manjaro on a bare metal system, you would be able to see it. You also have nightlight and dark style enabled. Disabling dark style doesn't do a lot. Most of the elements remain dark, except for third-party apps like Firefox. The web pages, they turn into white. But I do believe in 23.1 Vulcan version, they have implemented a light style system. So Gnome now has a new option to give the system a light interface style as opposed to the default dark look, which some people don't like, a lot of people like. So it's very subjective, right? So you can actually go to the command line and put in this setting. This would actually force the light mode in Gnome, and you're going to be able to see the entire desktop in a light version. Now they say that further integrations are being investigated for future releases, so probably you would not have to go through like this. It's just going to be a button which you're going to click, and it's going to turn into light mode for the entire desktop, right? They would integrate it into this button, hopefully. You also have new beautiful wallpapers which were added to Gnome's collection of backgrounds. I haven't been in touch with Gnome for a long time, so let's just go and check what kind of backgrounds we have. Okay, I remember a lot of these, but some of these are new to me. Let's say, for example, this one. Oh, it looks really good. Let's try and change it to the light style. Yeah, this is very eye-catchy. I really like this. There are a couple others like this. I don't think I have seen this before, or even these, or maybe I just don't remember. I don't know. In any case, we're gonna stick with this for the rest of the video. So moving on, you have a new image viewer for Gnome 45. So they have provided a tiny video. Let's go ahead and check what it is all about. So clearly you can swipe through the images using a button. You also have an information tab where you can see the location, aperture, exposure, all that kind of good stuff. And apparently Gnome Maps is looking really good right now with the layout that I see. It's good to see Gnome Maps receiving a lot of love, and this is something which is always interesting to me. I come back after every release and I check how far they have come. You also have a new camera app this time around, so in addition to the new image viewer, Gnome 45 also includes a new camera app, which is this. It looks really cool. Let's go through some of the elements that the camera app has. So you have a cross at the right, and then you can change the mode from camera to screen record. You also can see preview, and you have a button to either record a video or click a shot. And at the bottom corner, you also have a button for setting the timer, I presume. And they also have new style apps, so many core Gnome apps are using a new interface components in the 45 release. These new components bring a fresh look and also perform better across different window sizes and device form factors. So a couple of these include console, text editor, calendar, characters, clocks, contacts, etc., etc. They also have improved their file manager. So let's go to files and open it up for ourselves. I like the way files looks, man. The green highlights, it looks really good. So there are other enhancements like date and time, and you can also have descriptions added to all of your privacy settings subpages and information bubbles added to the auto login and administrator usage settings. There are constant improvements to how Manjaro operates. So let's go to date and time and let's see what it gives. As you can see, search is very powerful. We click on settings, we go to date and time, and it immediately gives us the option, and it also drops us to where we need to go. This is really good. So you have automatic date and time enabled. You can allow for the seconds to be displayed at the top and also week numbers. I'm not really sure what the last toggle is doing, but hopefully something, or maybe it's just a bug. You can also disable weekday, enable it. You can take the date off. I like to keep it like this. I just don't like looking at the seconds. It gives me anxiety, but apart from that, pretty cool settings page. You also have a ton of other improvements. So now when you remove a flat pack, an option is now shown to allow deleting the app's data, which is really cool. This is something you can do in Android. It's really good to see Gnome having the same feature. You have systems added to the calendar, so now the month view can now be smoothly scrolled one line at a time, as opposed to having to flip from month to month. And you also have improvements to connections, console, but console is still not the default over here. So if I give terminal, I presume I get the old version of the terminal. If I go to about, yeah, this is 3.5, but it's for Gnome 45. So I would really like to see terminal replaced by console. Nothing wrong with the old terminal. I just would love to have the updated app. You also have new circle apps. So these are a group of fantastic apps for Gnome, which the Gnome project don't really make, but they try to promote and support. So these include Telegraph, Cartridge, Ear Tag, Paperclip, Forge Sparks, and Impression. Now they're pretty self-explanatory. A Morse code translator sounds really fun. It's really fun. So if you want to test Manjaro dropped today, I think about 22 hours ago, if I consider my time zone. So this was a pretty fun distribution to watch, and it also has updated kernels. So if you are a gamer who's on Manjaro, you're not going to be disappointed because you have the 6.6 kernel present. So once you install Manjaro, you're not going to be upgrading to a different version. You're just going to have one version which keeps on updating continuously, because this is how a rolling release operates. Okay, so with that, we come to the end of this video, guys. Thanks so much for watching. I have been getting into the world of Linux slowly in slow steps. It's been a long time for me. Life happened. But if you made it to this point, I thank you very much, and I'll meet you on the flip side. Peace.